Good afternoon, financial professionals. Abby Fletcher here of E4 Insurance Services, welcoming you to the BREW, building relationships every week. Thanks for tuning in today. For those of you joining the BREW for the first time, we like to start the BREWcast by celebrating today's National Day for January 6th. First up, it's National Bean Day. Today, we celebrate those beautiful beans in all sizes, shapes, and colors. Fun fact, we've been cultivating beans and/or legumes since the early 7th millennium BC. Today, get out your can opener and whip up a big batch of chili or your favorite bean dish. Also, today is National Cuddle Up Day. Today, we are encouraged to snuggle up with someone for health benefits and more. Cuddling releases oxytocin, a hormone that not only gives us the warm fuzzies, but also reduces pain. January is typically the coldest days of the year, so what better way to stay warm and reap the health benefits? Today, go ahead, grab your cuddle buddy, and whether that's your spouse, kiddos, pets, however you do, get yourself some oxytocin. Today on the BREW, we have the founders of E4 Insurance Services, Dan Peterson, who serves as president, and Brendon DeRouin, who is our chief distribution officer. Today, they will be sharing their goals for E4 in 2021 and providing insight on the current insurance landscape. Both Dan and Brendon hold roles with NAIFA regionally, while also serving on multiple leadership panels within the industry. Today's BREW will be interactive, so I have a series of questions for the leaders to get us started, but feel free to unmute yourself and join the conversation. Chat box is below. I'll be keeping a lookout on that while Dan and Brendon are live. Also, all attendees are in a drawing for a prize, and we'll be announcing the winner shortly, so stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in, and without further ado, let's get started. Dan, I'm starting with you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Abby.
What does the start of 2021 mean to you and the direction of E4 Insurance Services?
Well, when we think about 2021, I go back to 2020, and in November of 2019, we merged Insurance Services Group and E4 Brokerage together to form E4 Insurance Services. And little did we know that less than 5 months later, we would be in a worldwide pandemic. And I challenge anybody as they think about uncharted waters and where we're going and what's ahead, that we always, the best laid plans, you can't know. It can be very unsettling not knowing what the future storms or what may be there. So when I think about 2021, I've been contemplating new beginnings, right? It's think about the traditions of the ball dropping in New York's Times Square, the countdown of Big Ben in London chiming, Sydney Harbor erupting in fireworks. You know, as we think about new years, we think about new waters pushing out, what friendships, opportunities, business successes we might find. And so as I think of those, the psychologists talk about fresh starts and fresh beginnings as it encourages people to pursue their goals and we can leverage this tendency to have our clients, take action in buying products or services that really make a difference in their financial futures. So as we think about that, we've gone through a lot of challenges in the last 12 months, with the lockdowns and a number of lockdowns. And we've actually been able to see through the advisors that we work with a tremendous growth this year in our life business. Our life business is up over 83% a year over last. For both of our combined organizations. We have plans to continue that growth. We have 11 carriers that we worked with in 2020 that we did over 6 figures of life premium with, target life premium, with the largest being just shy of 1 million. So our top life carriers in 2021, Prudential was #1 with us, North American, Symetra, Principal, Lincoln, Hancock, Pac Life, United of Omaha, Protective, Cincinnati, and Banner all represented significant production for us. We saw a tremendous amount of innovation. We now are handling less and less paper applications, and by that I mean the e-app process, DocuSign, all of the things that we now have available that carriers are accepting. Yes, we still have to get HIPAA forms signed with ink, and I'm sure there's going to be some other advances there, but a tremendous change in how we do business in 2020 that I think we'll be able to leverage in 2021. So as we've seen, having that conversation about clients' fears and concerns and making sure that they're protected has been very important, and I think that's going to continue. And at E4 Insurance Services, our staff is really focused on coming through this pandemic, sharpening our saw as we came through it, really working on our technology, our processes, all of those things so that we're better off in 2021 as we hopefully head into a new year with exciting opportunities for all of us.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions or reactions to what Dan just shared? Okay, if not, I'm coming to you, Brendon. Where do you see opportunities in this current environment we're in?
Thanks, Abby. And I didn't know if I should jump in there. I did actually have one reaction as Dan was talking about, best laid plans. And if somebody would have told us you're going to merge on November 1st, but you're going to have a pandemic in March, I don't know if that would have freaked me out and said, hey, maybe we should put this on hold or not. I have said repeatedly, and I'll double down that, I'm so glad that we did, and going through it with a partner was, a lot better than not. But if you had told me it was going to happen, would that have changed my mind? I don't really know, but it was just an interesting thought. So, Abby, when you say environment, I look at that question and, are you talking the interest rate environment, the environment of the pandemic, the political environment? All of those are, environments that we live in. So I'll sort of answer each one of those separately. And, we are in record low interest rate environments, which, our products, being in the insurance world, are very reflective of that. And if an advisor has a memory and looks at a 5-year annuity and 2.5%, they may think that's an absolutely awful rate, which, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would agree. That's less than the minimums they had in these contracts. But when you compare that to, bank CDs, at less than 1%, from your client's perspective, 2.5% is great. So, as advisors, we get in our own way a lot, and don't necessarily look at it from, the client's perspective. And, is 2.5%, even beating inflation? Probably not. Would they be better off in the market? Yes. But are they still going to leave money at the bank and CDs because that's human nature? Absolutely. So if you can move them from less than 1% to, greater than 2%, I think that makes sense. There's opportunity there where, on the level you wouldn't think so. Same with indexed, IUL. You look at cap rates now being in that, 8 to 10% range where they used to be 14, and, is that good? Well, again, we're comparing that to fixed alternatives, and, compared to the other, fixed alternatives or whole life, or, using that as a bond portion of your portfolio, it is competitive in comparison. It's not as good as it used to be, but all things relative. So that's my thought on the interest side. I still think there's plenty of opportunity there. With the pandemic, life has changed. Things are different. That being said, I think it has, illustrated the need for life insurance more than ever. People are aware of their mortality, their health, their risk, and that, you can go out to a restaurant, take a flight, do something that used to be pretty normal, and now, 2 weeks, 10 days later, end up being sick, and your life, can be changed. You may not, be accepted for life insurance, at least in the short run. And, could you have effects differently? And it's, it's those concerns that let's keep life insurance and protection, in mind, that we wouldn't have been at the forefront in the past. And then lastly, political environment today, obviously an interesting day on many levels. Depending on what happens with that last Senate seat, we may have changes in radical changes in tax law, estate planning. Let's look at, life insurance as a wealth transfer tool, as it's one of the most effective, items we can. Using a linked benefit product for an annuity to, get some of that gain out of an annuity for long-term care without paying taxes. There are lots of, tools that we have at our disposal that can help from that tax perspective. And when I think political, I think tax. So those are some of my thoughts, but the common theme between them all is there is opportunity despite, whatever environment we are in.
Well said, sir. Any questions for Brendon? Mics are open. Okay, Dan, coming back to you, sir. If you were to give advisors one piece of advice for 2021, what would that be?
Well, Abby, I think some of the challenges that advisors face really are that many times they focus on purely economic performance, the economic results of the practice that they have with their clients. And the studies have shown that, yes, while clients expect great economic performance and expect you to deliver in the economic area, that big part of the relationship, and some studies show up to 40% of the relationship is really built on the emotional and how you handle their fears, their dreams, their goals, their concerns. What are clients concerned about? Healthcare. How am I going to pay for healthcare in my retirement? What about these assets that I built? Do I have enough to live on? Do I have enough to retire on? What if I run out of money? How do I protect myself from those kind of fears? And so there's really great tools that are out there, but it's about having a better conversation. We've really spent some time at E4 this past year and really focusing on our why. What is it that we really want to help advisors do? And that's by working with our advisors, we create better financial outcomes for our clients. And that's really, yeah, you can have better financial outcomes if you always earn a 12% rate of return, but that's not possible. And there's going to be market downturns, and there's going to be things happen that we didn't anticipate or that unexpected. So how do we prepare for that? How do we protect for that? I would also say, I'll give the second piece, and policy reviews remain a huge way to where we see a lot of the business that we're able to impact and significant opportunities. And if you think about a review, there's 4 R's I want to leave you with. When you review an insurance policy, number one, is there an opportunity to repurpose it? Has the goals changed for that client? So repurposing, this is first R. The second is there a way to restructure so that it's got better guarantees? It won't lapse in the near future or about the time that life expectancy comes along. Can it be rescued? Many times policies have loans or other types of things that we can come in and talk about rescuing that. And then the last one is reaffirm. Is what they have really something that meets their goals? Does it have long-term care protection that they're looking for added to it? So that reaffirmation of that they've got a good plan, and that goes right back to handling the emotional piece of your client's fears. So don't just focus on economic, focus on emotional as well.
Thanks for sharing, Dan. Brendon, coming to you with the same question. What single piece of advice would you give our advisors for 2021?
Well, single piece, not unlimited. But I would echo everything that Dan said. If you're an RVP in our team, you'll have heard this many times. But activity, just have activity. Activity generates activity. And, you know, there, you can take an excuse that, you know, right now people don't want to be seen, and you don't need to see them, and we can probably get along just fine. That being said, if you are proactive, and I'm not saying that you need to see people in person, but reach out, have a phone call, have a Zoom meeting, you know, generate activity, you are going to have, you know, more activity from that, more conversations, and, you know, life insurance, annuities, long-term care, plus everything else that is in a, you know, advisor's quiver will be used, and that just keep up that activity. Also, it helps you get through the day. I mean, this can be a very depressing time for people stuck at home, you know, not seeing anything different. If you're active, doing well at your job, it's going to keep your spirits up. And so that's my number one piece of advice, is have activity.
Excellent, excellent. Any reactions? Any additions? Dan, I did just have a message pop up in the chat box. E4 Insurance Services has completed its first fiscal year as a company. Can you imagine any better of a business partner than Brendon asking for a friend?
I really can't. Yes. Well, what else would I say to that? It has been good to go through the year with a strong partnership, and you know, we focused a lot on initially with operational. You know, how are we going to get the operations together, and that was a big piece of it. And I think we have some exciting things planned for 2021 as we really continue to build out new services, new support. We're seeing opportunities together in ways that we didn't even anticipate. I mean, businesses want to reward and retain their key people, and so there's new ways of doing that. That we've seen some really tremendous cases and success, and even this BREW strategy that we have, this building relationships every week, Abby, that you lead. You know, we're looking forward to bringing more pertinent topics, having advisors participate, sharing success stories, not just talking about product, but really revolutionizing how can we deliver better outcomes, right? That's really what we're focused on. And so, you know, having a partner doing that together, it's been, you know, we really talk about 1 + 1 with us equaled 5. And so that's, we saw the synergy and the growth, and it's been a great merger for us.
Thank you, Dan. And thank you, Brendon, both of you. We've really appreciated you taking the time today and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you. Now let's go to the prize giveaway. Brendon, I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 15.
My favorite number isn't in there, but I will go with 6.
Okay, who's the winner? Who's the winner? Eric Swanson. Congratulations, sir. And be on the lookout for a coffee card coming your way from all of us here at E4. And thank you for joining today. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday. We'll have E4's very own John Florence advising. His topic will be advising through transition, the divorce edition. Thanks for joining. Happy 21. Happy New Year. And we'll see you next week.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.